End of another day of training, and it's time for another monologue. Today, for the monologue, I'm going to talk about lifts. Lifts, also known as clears, are a defensive move which we use when we're under pressure, when the opponent sends a shot to the net. And then we go in there and we hit the shot high, we send it high. Why is it called a defensive move? It's because we're sending it from a low point up to a high point. An attacking move is when we're taking it from a high point and we're sending it to the low point, putting pressure on the opponent. A lift is designed to help us relieve that pressure by sending the shot high, buying us time. So let's talk about what type of lifts there are. There are basically two types. The one you do on the forehand side and one which you do on the backhand side. Now, the backhand lift is much more important because like 2/3 of the time we will be using a backhand lift. When the shot is right in front of us, we use a backhand lift. It is much more natural because our arm is on one side of the body. When we go right in front of us, we will have to turn it into a backhand. So that's why when it's right in front of us, we use a backhand lift. When turn to the backhand side, quite obviously, we'll be using the backhand as well. Forehand is only used when it's on the forehand side. Now, let's talk about the backhand lift. Now, the normal way of doing a lift is when we go into the net, we go forward to the net and the shuttle is there, we go there and we hit it. And when we hit, the racket goes this way. That's a lift. Here are some clips of me doing a lift. Here's the clip of me doing the backhand lift. Now, at the start of the hit, I pull my racket back for the backswing. You can see it clearly in the slow motion. And as I swing forward to hit, you can see the hit connecting between the racket and the shuttle. And after the hit, the racket goes to the side as the follow through of the swing goes on. Now, this follow through causes a little bit of unbalance. You can see me moving my body a little bit to compensate for the swing. Last part of the clip shows the height achieved by the lift. And as you can see, the height is very good, and that is the standard lift. That is the purpose of the lift, to be able to hit a defensive shot like that. And that's the backhand lift. Now, you can see when we're doing a backhand lift, we go in there and we will do that lift. After the hit, the racket goes upwards this way. That will be a bit off balance, and we have to regain our balance a little bit right after the hit. Now, let's talk about the forehand lift. Forehand lift is done this way. Now, after a forehand lift, we will tend to pull the arm up this way. And again, because the arm's going this way, there'll be a small moment where we're a bit off balance. Now let's have a look at some clips of me doing the forehand lift. Now we look at the second clip where I'm doing the forehand lift. For the forehand lift, again, you can see at the start of the swing, I pull the racket back for the backswing, and then I swing my arm forward along with the racket to hit. Now as my arm connects with the shuttle and then the hit happens and it follows through, you can see that my arm will then bend to the other side a little, and my body leans in that direction to compensate for the swing. Now as we look at the last clip over here, which shows the flight of the shuttle, you can see how the shuttle flies really, really high and into the rear of the court. That is the way lifts are done by Malaysian technique, Malaysian Indonesian technique. It's also the same way lifts are done by Danish, Indians, and even Japanese, and even the Koreans. But the way for doing lifts which Han Jian has taught us is a bit different. When we go in for the backhand lift, we go in with the hit similar way, but the swing is much smaller. And then immediately after the hit, we turn the wrist and have the racket and end the move with the racket like this. That's how the lift looks like. Now have a look at some clips of me doing the lift with Han Jian's method. Now this clip shows me doing a backhand lift using Han Jian's method for lift. Now at the start of the swing, I pull the racket back for the backswing, and then I move it forward quickly to hit. Now as I move the racket forward, I turn the racket head. You can see the racket head turning. The turn happens immediately after the hit is connected, and after the turn, I stop the racket there, and that is called cancelling the swing. Now what this does is it means that I don't need to adjust my body as I swing, and that keeps me in balance. Now as we look at the third clip, that shows the trajectory of the lift, and it looks pretty much the same as the standard backhand lift. Now, on the forehand side, it's similar. We go in this way, and then after the hit, we turn the racket like this. Now have a look at some clips of me doing Han Jian's forehand. Now we look at the last one, which is like the forehand lift using Han Jian's method. Again, at the start, the racket gets pulled back for the backswing, and then I swing forward to hit. And as I swing forward to hit, again I turn the racket head as immediately after I hit, the racket head turns forward. And the swing, I stop the swing there. I cancel the swing. The swing does not go higher than where my body is. Again, this in using this lift, my body is more in balance, as I do not need to compensate for the swing. Now as we look at the trajectory of the lift looks exactly the same as the forehand lift from using the standard method, not Han Jian's method. There is no difference here. Now, when we're using Han Jian's way of doing the lift, there's always the turn of the racket head immediately after the lift. You see, on the backhand side, it ends like this. On the forehand side, you see it ends like this. There's always this turn of the racket head. This turning of the racket head adds an extra whip to the shot. It gives the racket a lot more velocity instead of just straight moving up. And then there's always this added motion, which gives that extra velocity and extra whip to send the shuttle further. There's also another benefit where it helps if we swing it like this. We have to raise our arm because it is not natural. We can't continue to move our arm upwards anymore like this. It stops here. But if we turn the arm, we can then get the arm moving. So if we need a bit more power to the lift, we can continue with the full swing of the lift this way. Same thing with the forehands. What are the benefits of using this lift? It is difficult to master because of the power involved. It's a lot of finger power. We have to hit and turn. And then there's also the turn which we need to master. If we don't turn it right, shot will always go out. So what is the benefit? It's so difficult to learn. Why not just use that technique without which it's much easier to do, and we get almost a similar result. The thing about this lift is we don't lose balance after the hit. After the hit, we adjust the racket this way, cancel the swing, and we're still in balance. And by being in balance, it improves our mobility. I can go in, hit a swing, and this lift only requires a short back swing because a lot of the velocity comes from the turn of it. And hit the swing, I don't need a big follow through, and then I'm still in balance, and I can quickly reverse and get back into a defensive position. Using this lift, it gives us extra mobility, and a lot more time to be prepared for the next shot. It helps our defense. Case in point is Long. He is extremely difficult to break down, and he uses this lift extremely commonly, overused in fact. But he's such a difficult player to break down, and part of it is at this point. So if we can incorporate this into our game, it gives us an extra option. We're under pressure, then use this lift to get back into the defensive position. But if I'm not under pressure, I can then just use the normal lift because I have the luxury of time. Knowing this lift gives us an extra option in our arsenal on how do we do lifts. Do I want it to be defensive? Do I want it to be a short swing or not short swing, fast or not fast? It gives us plenty of options, and it gives us a more complete game.
Now let's look at some clips of Lin Dan and Lee Chong Wei doing lifts. When we look at Lee Chong Wei's lifts, you can see that he hits his lifts without turning the racket head. That is very clear. Now when we look at Lin Dan, especially on the forehand side, it's very apparent that Lin Dan turns his racket head as he hits the lifts. Now on Lin Dan's backhand lifts, it is not very clear. He does it very quickly. It does not look like he has a turn, but there is. It's a very slight turn. Lin Dan has this habit of just turning it a little when he hits, and then he pulls it back down after he hits.
That's it for this entry. I hope you enjoy it. Eat well, get plenty of rest, keep the badminton going. I'll see you in the next one.